Hi, it's Talking Reds. I'm Craig Hannan. I'm joined by Ian Ryan. We're at the Shankly Hotel. A little bit different surroundings today. It's also me and Ian Ryan's first time doing Talking Reds together.
It is our first time.
Nice little debut for the both of us
Absolutely.
together. Yeah, we're just going to talk a little bit about the Legends game tomorrow. Liverpool are playing Bayern Munich Legends. There's a host of players involved in it. I'm just looking at the Liverpool squad here. It's dead exciting, actually. Jerzy Dudek, David James, Kavarmi, McAteer, Agger, Bab, Risa, McManaman, Aldridge, Gerrard, Ian Rush, Robbie Fowler, Louis Garcia, Michael Owen, Smeetser, Alonso, Berger, Hamann, Kaut, McAllister, Carragher. That's them all. Who are you most excited about seeing?
I was going to read them all out.
I started and I thought I can't stop now, can I?
I like it. No, I mean, there's loads of names there, isn't there? I mean, there's obviously some big standout ones. Stevie, obviously. I think I want to see Alonso. I know he's going to do 40. He's going to do 45 minutes, isn't he, of both halves. Some of the lads, though, that they appear to be taking it really seriously. I saw Jersey had posted some workout videos, so that lad's not messed about. He's taking it very seriously. I think in terms of players you want to see, Alonso's always a standout, isn't he? Because while he was here, it felt that he got us, you know what I mean? As a city, as a team, he understood what it meant to play for the Reds. So to see him play, I think he's going to do 45 for us, 45 for them. So he's one who'd be a standout. Just to see him, I mean, it's been a while since he last played in the red shirt, but you think back to kind of those 5 or 6 years he had with us and some of the goals he scored, those 2 from the halfway line, the vision. I mean, it was always one thing for me with Alonso that, I mean, to see the pass was fine, but to be able to execute it as well was unreal. So he'd be the standout along with, like, you know, the likes of Carragher and Louis Garcia, McManaman, people like that as well. Yeah,
definitely. Like, I'm just excited to see Xabi Alonso's lovely beard again.
He has got a boss beard.
See a lovely beard, see him spraying passes about Anfield. I think this is his first time returning to Anfield. I don't think I'm wrong in that, isn't it? His first time back? Let's just say it's his first time back. A couple of the other ones as well, like Louis Garcia, he had a good game in the last Legends game, I remember. Obviously Steven Gerrard, they'll be excited to play with each other as well. I think that's one of the things you see them training, because they don't want to make a fool of themselves. It'd be really, really bad if they all turned up with massive beer bellies and just weren't at it, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be half as fun. So it'd be great to see some of them.
These lads, I think, what always stands out is when they retire, they miss it so much, don't they?
Yeah.
They absolutely miss it, like, so much. So I think any opportunity, any excuse to get back out, to play at Anfield again, as I said before, you know, Dudek posts those videos up when he's doing all these workout sessions. He won't be the only one taking it seriously.
No,
all the lads
of course
will want to. They want to go there and make a show of themselves. And I think if you look at the Bayern Munich team as well, there's some standouts there as well. You know, for me, like, growing up watching footy, Lothar Matthäus was a bit of an icon really in world football. He goes on to win a World Cup for Germany in 1990, captains the team, 150 caps, loads of titles for Bayern Munich, has 2 spells there. Lisa Azu's another one, I think Luca Toni's playing, Zé Roberto. So
Philip Lahm as well.
Is Lahm playing as
well?
Yeah,
Philip Lahm as well.
Feels a little unfair if Lahm plays, to be fair. He's well going to boss the game. But lads like that, I mean, I think what's good about these games is it's an opportunity for fans who don't normally get to go to the game to have a chance to get in, see some players, albeit, you know, at the end of the careers or they've recently retired, but the skill levels will still be there. The pace will have dropped, obviously, but in terms of the ability, in terms of the skill, there'll be loads on show, so it's well worth going to match tomorrow. So I'm expecting, is it full house as well? I think it is,
I think it's sold out in 15 minutes, which is just a measure of how excited people are. I think it is, like you said, it's a brilliant chance for young kids to get into the ground. It's a brilliant chance for even people of our age who would like to see Xabi Alonso again. I like the way you said our age then, you kept us in the same breath. I'm all about that, son. I'm all about that. I'll give you that one. But like in terms of Garcia and Alonso, players like that, they're the kind of players that when I look back on my childhood, I remember them lifting the European Cup and the big games at Anfield that they were involved in, and so it'll be exciting for me to see them as well.
It is, but it comes back to that point before. You know, lads like Garcia, lads like Alonso, they got it, they understood it, they came to the city, it meant something to them. It wasn't just I'll go and play for this football club and it's a job, and then once you leave, you forget about it. They talk about it now, and they talk about it with passion. So people like Garcia, people like Alonso, you can tell it still means something to them. Yeah, and because it means something to them, that resonates with fans, and fans can kind of relate to it and think, you know what, they're players who you still think fondly of now, you still think highly of now, because of how they talk about the club, because of how they think about the club, and because of how they played at times for the club as well. And as you mentioned there, you know, we're talking about lads who went on and lifted our 5th European Cup as well, so
Yeah, looking back at last year's Legends games, I remember John Aldridge scores and he scores at the Cop End and he was celebrating as if he
missed the sitter, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that. I was going to be kind to him, but like you saw how excited he was to to score at the Cop End again. Garcia gets a goal as well and looked like Garcia looked really good. I remember last time I was looking at him, I was thinking he could still do his job.
He did, yeah.
I love that, by the way. Whenever you watch these Legends games and you see Gerrard spraying about, people are like, why isn't he still playing for Liverpool? It's because he's dead old now, mate. And,
but you know, with Gerrard, he still tests players now. Does I remember like reading when a new player would come into the club, Steven Gerrard would always test them. You know what I mean? He'd ping one into them straight away. Yeah, lad, how'd you handle that one? He'd do that all the time. So, and you can imagine him still doing it tomorrow, just testing people's first touch and stuff. But I mean, any chance to go and see Stevie play again for Liverpool, it's well worth taking up that option.
Yeah, someone's dad somewhere in the UK will be watching, thinking, "Why is Gerrard not still playing for Liverpool? He's brilliant there."
Mate,
someone's dad's going to say that.
I'm going to go 30 seconds till someone tweets it and goes, "You know what? He'd still do a job for us. Lad, he wouldn't still do a job for us."
Yeah,
he was boss, but not anymore.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Myself and Sean are going to be down at it, so there'll be all the usual socials from the Anfield Wrap as well. If you haven't got tickets yet, it is sold out. If you haven't got tickets, Shankly Tours are giving away 2 tickets. I believe they're picking a winner tonight at 5. If you just go to their Facebook page or any of their socials, you'll be able to find out how to enter that. England are playing tonight. Who cares? But Virgil van Dijk,
Big Bears kids.
Yeah, we care whenever Virgil van Dijk's captain in Holland. So I think he captains for the first time. Ronald Koeman, the secret red, has given him the captaincy.
He's still winding him up, when
isn't he? Yeah,
he's still giving it to him. I absolutely love Koeman.
Which I'm a big fan. Are you going to be watching the?
He's absolutely busting balls.
Are you going to be watching England tonight?
Yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, it's always one of them. It gets in the way, doesn't it, for me, international football. This time of the season, it's still really important in terms of where we are as a club, what we're trying to do. It feels like it's just got in the way a little bit, but it's a game of footy. There's Liverpool lads playing there tonight. You want to see them do well, but you want to see them more than anything come through the game. No injuries. It's great for Van Dijk. It feels like, he looks like a captain, doesn't he? And you wonder, next season what does that look like for Liverpool in terms of who's going to be captain? Will it still be Henderson? Does he play enough football next season to warrant being the captain, or does he again look to change it up? I'm not too sure. I think loads of people have got different views on it, but I think in terms of what we've seen from Van Dijk so far, there's loads of leadership skills there. There's loads of quality. There's loads of what you'd expect from a captain. Talking all the time, communicating all the time. I've said it before in other shows. He drags people up another level, and you've seen that from other top players in the Premier League in the past. The ability to make other players play better. They watch what he does. They think, if he's playing like that, I've got to step it up. Van Dijk, it uses that kind of class, if you like. So, yeah, captain tonight, made up for him. You can imagine he's going to be captain for a long, long time for Holland. And as I say, in terms of that Liverpool captaincy, who knows what it holds for next season?
Yeah, I think the fact that he has been made Holland captain is going to put up that question tonight, isn't it? People are going to be asking whether he is a future Liverpool captain, even when he's playing against another. He's playing against the Liverpool captain tonight.
And that's I suppose that's an interesting kind of side story to it, I suppose. And I think in the main, I like Jordan Henderson. I've said before, I think there's an upgrade there. But as a player, I think he's a good player. I think he's well worth keeping and having around the squad. If he wasn't going to be necessarily first choice next season, then maybe the manager has to look at it and think, do I make a change or do I leave it as it is? I think in the main he seems fairly happy with Henderson being captain, and I don't think he'd want to change it, other than if he wasn't going to feature too much in the first 11, he may need to look at it.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just an armband as well, isn't it? Like you see what Van Dijk's doing with his defence, the calm that is rubbing off on the players around him, and you hear Joe Gomez talking about how he's learning from Van Dijk, and even just watching him from the stands, you see him talking the whole time. You hear him talking, he's pointing, he's shouting, he's orchestrating from the back. But
Craig, I don't think it matters to some players. No. I think some players.
I don't think it matters to Jurgen Klopp that much either. You've seen some of the players that he's given the captain's armband to.
I think. Certain other teams, certain foreign teams, you think of the likes of Italy and people like that, they tend to just give it to the player who's played for the most games for the country, the most experienced guy. I think we put a lot more on it in this country in terms of what it means. But that said, you're looking for, in an ideal world, you're looking for loads of your lads to step up, aren't you, and be like captains on the pitch. But I think nowadays in football, there's so few of those players who demonstrate those qualities, but certainly Van Dijk is one of those lads who brings loads to the party in terms of the leadership and the other qualities that we'd associate with a top captain.
Yeah, I wasn't going to watch the match tonight, but now we've talked about
Virgil van Dijk loads. I'm
excited to see the Verge again. That's been the first segment of Talking Reds. We're back again with Talking Reds. Just before we do the papers, as we said before, we're in the Shankly Hotel at the moment. We've just seen the Bayern Munich team come in. It's quite exciting, isn't it?
It is, and I think looking at them, 1 or 2 will be all right. 1 or 2 might not be.
They're quite old, aren't they?
There's a few lads there who might be struggling a little bit, so we'll see what happens tomorrow.
And there was a few of them. Z Roberto come in, Luca Toni,
he's
very tall.
He's a big lad, isn't he? Luca Toni, he's a big lad.
Tall, good-looking lad. So yeah, there'll be a few of them. I think the likes of Xabi Alonso and that'll be coming in later on. They're the ones that we're all excited to see. His glorious, glorious beard. Onto the papers here. The Echo illustrating how short Jordan Pickford's arms are. It's something that Neil Atkinson's been keen to make everyone aware of. T-Rex arms.
Straight into small arm chat.
Yeah. Very, very small arms. He starts for England tonight. The Germany coach eases Chan injury worries. Obviously, he limped off in Liverpool's last game. I think he limped out of training as well in Germany, training during the week. He claims hopefully he'll still be ready to play against Brazil. We'd rather not see him risk, to be honest. Like, we just don't want to see him risk in international friendlies, do we?
No, I mean, I said before, when they go away, you want to make sure they come back on the same nick that they went away. So Emre Can, I know there's been a little bit of controversy recently about some of the quotes that have come out since he's joined up with the international squad. There's no doubt about it, though, that Jürgen will still want to play him and he'll still want him fit. So imperative he comes back fully fit.
Yeah, definitely. We talked at length about Trent Alexander-Arnold yesterday. It's great to see that both him and Gomez are going to be given goes. Obviously, it looks as if Gomez is going to start tonight for England. Trent's been given a go training with the first team, which can only help, enhance his development and see them progress quicker, doesn't it?
Craig, you know what? I mean, at the beginning of the season, both of those lads, whilst they would have hoped to have featured, there's no way they'd have thought they were going to get this much game time this season.
Not.
I mean, they'd have been hoping, of course you are, because as a young player, you're always wanting to kind of, break into the squad as quickly as possible, break into the first 11. But obviously the injury to Nathaniel Klein has given both lads a great opportunity. And you have to say, both of them have taken it with both hands. They really have. I mean, it's sometimes a bit of a toss of a coin. I think there's games where you think more suit Gomez more because maybe that defensive kind of abilities maybe is slightly stronger than Trent's. And then there's games at home where you think if Liverpool are going to be seeing loads and loads of the ball and looking to break a team down, then maybe Trent's your guy you go to. So there's no doubt about it. Both of them put themselves in a really good position. Great to see Gomez probably start. There's a chance with England's lack of good defenders that he could actually start the World Cup as well. He's got I mean, if Southgate goes 3 at the back, there's every chance, like in the last friendly at Wembley, Gomez may feature as one of the centre-halves, and that's quite something in terms of a journey for the lad, considering the injuries, considering how long it's taken him to get back to that level, understandably so, and the fact that Trent's getting exposure and getting time to train with the first team as well, it can only be good for us.
Yeah, I think it's easy to forget just how long Joe Gomez was out with injury.
Absolutely.
As well. That's the thing. I even forgot until he mentioned it there. But yeah, brilliant for both of them too. Hopefully we see Gomez get minutes tonight. Yeah, we've been looking at the Jan Molby column in the Echo as well. First of all, loads of talk throughout the paper about Virgil van Dijk as captain. Jan Molby believes, we talked about it in the previous section, but Jan Molby believes that Van Dijk will be the skipper during his career with the Reds. I'm not sure about that. There's a lot of debate around it, like we said in the previous section, a lot of debate around him and Jordan Henderson, but like we said, we just don't think that Jurgen Klopp cares as much as we maybe do, and I think you might see him if Henderson's not fit and Milner's not about, but I'm not sure about that, to be honest. And yeah, he bigs up Mo and he bigs up Firmino. One of the things he says that's interesting at the end was, I remember in the summer that people were saying we need a striker and someone who can guarantee us X amount of goals, but because of someone like Firmino, there's no pressure put on him from the manager to score 25 goals a season. There's pressure put on him to do other things. That was one of the things that loads of ex-pros seemed to be coming out with at the beginning of the season, even fans saying, Liverpool need this 25 goal a season striker. They won't be able to do anything without it. Well, we've actually got 2.
Yeah, I think, looking back at it now, it seems like nonsense, doesn't it, to even suggest that you would need a proper number 9. But there's no doubt about it. It was getting raised by loads and loads of different people, ex-pros, fans. I think some people felt we maybe might lack goals, because I don't think anyone for 1 second thought Mo would come in and do what he's done. The goals he's kind of delivered, the performances he's delivered have been well above what anyone probably would have expected. So I think that's the first thing. I think Firmino just gets better and better, and again, it's imperative that we talk about new contract for Mo in terms of maybe increasing his wage, but as well, getting Bobby Firmino tied down is absolutely crucial to this Liverpool team. And I think what will be dead interesting is what Liverpool do in the summer, because it's really hard. I think it's been mentioned on other shows, if you were going to look at another front three player, I think it probably has to be a lad who comes in and can operate in those wide areas, as opposed to a more natural number 9, because if they come to Liverpool, then they're going to be playing second fiddle to Bobby Firmino, because that lad, for me, when fit, in all the big games, you start Bobby, because how many players can do what he can do in world football? He's
created a real problem for Jurgen Klopp, I think, in that how he's so unique in what he does, and now he's banging them in. And like you say, it's the links with Timo Werner, but is Timo Werner going to come in, unless we're going to play 2 up top, which we've not seen that much? Is he going to be moved wide? Is he going to be okay with that? I think that's where it becomes difficult for Jurgen Klopp as to who the backup is. I think that's probably why he brings in someone like Shankly, who's young and still has to prove himself, and he can kind of mould into that kind of player. But he's never going to be that kind of player, is he?
No, but I think one thing we can be rest assured of over the last kind of months, 2.5 years Jurgen's been there now, there's a plan. There's a plan. Yeah. So we all know exactly what he wants to do with this Liverpool team moving forward. And I think in terms of potential buys, listen, we're not going to turn this into a gutter show, but I think someone like a Pulisic, for instance, who can operate in a wide area, will be someone who's on his radar, ticks all the boxes in terms of that young player, speed, loads of opportunity to get better and develop. But I think in terms of a more natural number 9, not too sure that'll happen, given how good Firmino is, how important he is to the system. As you said there's always opportunities to go maybe 2 up front in certain games, but it's not something we've done very often, is it? So I don't think he'd look to go out and buy someone just for that reason, because he could quite easily put a Mane up there in a 2, or even a Salah in a 2. So yeah, kind of watch the space, I suppose.
Well, there was a gutter show yesterday looking at potential transfer options, so get on that. It's on top player at the moment. Rob Gutman, dead excited to have that one back.
Loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely loves the transfers. But I think one thing that we can all sort of rest assured going into the transfer window is that we can trust what Jurgen Klopp's trying to do, because we've seen the buys, and there has been the accusations levelled that he doesn't buy enough, and that's okay. But the buys he does make so far, and has made so far in his career, have been brilliant, and the majority of them have worked out. I think when I was thinking about it a couple of months ago, it only seemed to be Karius that there was a question mark over, and now he's proven doubters wrong as well. So
Craig, our hit rate on transfers under this manager has been ridiculous. It really has. I mean, he's getting all of them, nearly all of them right, which is some record. I think there's been times where myself, I probably wanted maybe Liverpool to do a little bit more business, but at the end of the day, this manager knows what this football team needs, and he's going about it in a more strategic way than any of us ever would. As fans, you just want to see players come into the club, don't you? Of course you do, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what this football club needs, so we just let him get on with it.
Yeah. Decent piece in the Mirror today by Mike Walters. That we're not massively into international football, but I thought this was interesting. 1996, this is a preview in the England-Holland game. He said, 1996, was this the last time we were excited about England? He says, 22 years ago, Terry Venables, England demolished Holland 4-1 at Wembley in the Euro Championship finals. Here, the players recall that glory night. So I think he speaks to David Seaman, Darren Anderton, a few others. I was too young for that tournament. I don't actually remember it, but I've watched loads of documentaries. And it always quite intrigues me, because when you watch the footage and you read about it, it's sort of it feels as if you're talking about a completely different England national team, and it feels as if you're talking about a completely different feeling around the national team at that stage.
There was I remember the tournament quite well, and there was a huge buzz around the country. I think a lot of the England thing, because it does tend to centre so much around London, down south, people are kind of in the northwest and stuff, you lose a little bit in terms of that connection with it. But I think that tournament, certainly for me, more than any other, was one where the whole country felt galvanised, and it was a time when I actually quite enjoyed watching the international team. That's kind of disappeared over the years, but Venables had a good squad there, a squad and a team that was close to doing something quite special. And we talked before about captains and leaders in squads and teams. If you look at that England 11, that played in that tournament for the majority of those games. You had people like Seaman, Gary Neville, although he was young, he was a kind of a talker. Southgate, people like Tony Adams, Stuart Pearce, Ince, Shearer, Sheringham. They were lads who were leaders as well as good football players, and that's something that's probably disappeared out the game over the years. But there's no doubt about it. That England team came close, and there's that scene where the ball flashes across the area against Germany in the semi-final, and Gascoigne's literally kind of inches from putting it in. That takes England through, and who knows what would have happened then.
It feels as if that was the last time it was fun to support England, and
I
that's
think
from
so.
an outsider. It's from someone who's never supported England, doesn't support them. I think a couple of years ago I watched a documentary that was on BBC iPlayer. You'll still be able to get it online. It was in the build-up to the Euros, and it went back to that 96, and it sort of spoke to all the players and had loads of footage and stuff. And it's just mad how different it was. They talk about getting pissed in the hotel and stuff afterwards, and it just looked a lot more fun then.
Well, I think before going into that tournament, they had the old dentist chair thing, which they reenacted when Gazza scores the goal against Scotland, and that was, again, it was fellas you could relate to, and were going out having a good time, but actually on the pitch as well, they were doing the business, so it was good.
Coming up on top player, I think Sam's going to do the thing where he puts it along the bottom. I'm really hoping he does, because he never fucking does it, and he tells me he's going to do it. And then he puts bow ties, and he puts hats, and then he has me holding handbags. He has everything. He looks really mischievous behind camera. So he's gonna flash those up. Another thing we've got to mention tonight in the Kenny Dalglish stand at Anfield. If you're in Liverpool, whether you're here, whether you live here, whether you're here for the game, there's an evening with Gary McAllister. It's the official Liverpool Supporters Club, the Merseyside branch. Neil Atkinson of this parish is going to be speaking to Gary McAllister on stage. I believe there's going to be a few other talk contributors, Mike Nevin, possibly John Gibbons. There's a few of them anyway. Get down to that. I believe it's only £1, and you can pay on the door as well. So it's definitely one to get into. £1 to listen to Gary Mack talk.
You can't argue with that.
You know what I mean? That's been Talking Reds.